If you open your heart to someone and tell them how they made you feel, does it mean they'll change? And what if they don't change? In a recent video, I talked about a hack to speak to people on the other side of the veil, so to speak. But then I also talked about how you could speak to their higher self if they have not crossed over yet. For example, the person is still alive, but you couldn't really have a heart-to-heart conversation with them, even if you wanted to. Either you have a little bit of fear about it, or they may just not really be open to that kind of thing. And this person asks, does it make a change in our reality when we do this type of thing, or will the other person even maybe act differently? So I talked about going into a spiritual meeting room of sorts. This is where you call another person's soul or higher self into a spiritual meeting room. So you have to use your imagination for this one. So if it's not for you, don't worry about it. Then you have a heart-to-heart with them and just listen to what comes up in your mind and trust what you hear. You can check out that video if you want more details on how to do this. It should make a change in your reality, but will it change the other person? Very likely it won't. The change in you will be the understanding that you receive by having information now that you didn't have before. You'll have more understanding from that other person's point of view, more clarity about why they did what they did or said what they said. And if you are truly connected to their soul, to the voice of their soul, which is their higher self, it will be an answer filled with love. It won't be a vindictive answer. If you get something like that, you are not connected to their higher self. It won't be an answer from anger or vengeance or anything filled with any emotion less than love. So the example I gave in that video was calling my dad, who is still very much alive in this lifetime, calling him to a spiritual meeting room and asking him how he could not see the abuse that I was subjected to by his wife, my stepmother. It just always baffled my mind. How could he have not seen it and done anything about it? And when I called him into a spiritual meeting room, that's where he told me, I'm just doing what you told me to do. You told me not to interfere, that the two of you had karma you were wanting to work out. My father told me, I didn't want to come and play this role, but you begged me, and so I agreed. And you said you would be fine with it, that you wanted me to stay out of it, not come and save you, not rescue you, but let the two of you work out your stuff. So using that example, did it change me? It did absolutely change me, because I got an understanding that never even crossed my mind before. Here I was feeling like a victim, and in fact, I wasn't a victim. This was all part of my soul's plan for my journey, to go through these events with my stepmother for me to come out on the other side in love. Not that I have to be a doormat once I'm old enough, but to still walk in love, to not have anger, resentment, bitterness toward her or my father. But having the answer that I got in that spiritual meeting room with my father gave me peace, because now it just kind of made sense. Did it change my father and the way he acts? Well, I'm not a child anymore, and I'm not in the middle of that abuse anymore, but even when I visit them on the rare occasions that I do, she still throws in all kinds of jabs. And my father doesn't see any of them. Now, I find it very humorous that she's still playing in that, and it's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. But did she change? No, she didn't. Did my father change? No, he didn't. He still pretends he doesn't see any of this. But that's okay, and that is the tale of the spiritual journey anyway. The change is not meant for other people. When we're on a spiritual journey and we do this healing and we do this work, it's for us. It's not to change the other person. We can't change anyone else. Their growth, their actions, their reactions, the way they are, that's on them. But the way we act, the way we react, and the way we handle our emotions is completely on us. The spiritual journey is for us to work on ourselves, not to control or manipulate anyone else. The only person who can change someone else is them, just like the only person that can change you is you. So what about you? If you examine your heart, are you holding anger, resentment, bitterness, or unforgiveness towards anyone else that you could hold a meeting with? And if so, do you think you can go into that meeting, ask for clarification, trust what you hear as long as it's an answer coming from a place of love, and allow it to change and soften your heart once you receive the clarification and the understanding as to why something happened? And the bonus, you get to benefit from that growth.